Hello, everybody. I'm Vince White, and I'm an employment attorney. And usually on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users. But y'all have been posting some questions about disability benefits and ERISA that I just can't answer. So I'm lucky enough, I found someone who can. Sir, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Newfield. I am the founder and owner of Newfield Law Group in Melville, New York, helping disabled people throughout the country. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I was thrilled to hear from you because I've been telling the channel I've been looking for an ERISA attorney to refer to since the last gentleman who I believe you were aware of that I used to refer to retired like 4 years ago. So I was thrilled to meet you. Um, Now let me make sure I get this right. You do both disability benefits and ERISA, right?
Yes, so there's private policies of disability that are often held through white collar professions, doctors, dentists, Wall Street, and then there's the group ERISA benefits that you're talking about that are typically through somebody's employment. It's an employee benefit package. It's one of the benefits that's offered, and it's governed by a specific statute, ERISA, that is very constraining and has significant regulations that we don't see in everyday law and litigation.
Amazing. And everybody, I want to address one thing really quick because sometimes folks are like, oh, you're getting paid to have this guy on. False. Not the case. Jason and I spoke. I'm referring people from our firm to him when they need help. I thought he could be a good resource. And so he was gracious enough to come on the channel. This is not, there's no paid sponsorship here. This is literally, I think Jason's a good option. I think it seems like he provides a lot of value for his clients. So I wanted to have him on. And Jason, in that realm, in terms of providing value, so let's start with the disability first. Somebody's got questions about these benefits. When should they call you?
Thanks. I'm super appreciative for you having me on because I think one of the core issues is educating people about the process. The more people we can educate, and hopefully through your stream, we're able to do that, people will, at a minimum, be better educated in self-help. In a perfect world, they'll avail themselves of other resources, often free consultations. I would offer a free consultation to anybody to evaluate their coverage, to look at what they have. And so when you talk about the disability policies, those are the private policies that are typically held. I was recently at a conference for dentists and I was trying to educate them and I was engaging in discussions and many of them didn't even know who their insurance company was with. They were sending monthly payments. It was coming out of their bank account. That's probably why they didn't know. They weren't cutting a check. But realistically, I said, who's your coverage with? I don't know. And not that it matters to me. Obviously, the contract is important. They wouldn't even have the contract, certainly. But the first thing I would do is evaluate that contract, see what the terms are. I always say the contract is the roadmap to the treasure chest. And so you want to be able to look at that, evaluate it, and then be able to guide somebody based upon that. And so in that regard, we will help guide people through the process. I say, and I think when we spoke, I tell you that I spot issues or I can fix problems. I prevent spills or I clean messes. For me, it's important to work through these issues with the prospective insured, the client, and understand what's going on and help them navigate this process. So for me, getting someone earlier in the process, even before they file the claim, will allow me to help streamline it and navigate them from working to becoming disabled readily and seamlessly, effectively. And so the package that's put together is predicated on these years of understanding what that they need to accept the claim and to be able to understand what it is that drives this claim towards an approval process. Most of the time there are elimination periods. So there's a period of time that somebody's going to go without any payment. It's sort of self-insured. So you want to limit the amount of time that they're held waiting by ensuring that the process is seamless. So when that elimination period is over, that their benefits will then start.
Got it. That's important. Okay. So let me just check this and I'm going to apply this a little bit to my own life. Back in 2016, I had a medical condition that put me at risk of losing my voice, but we had a policy like you're describing that actually, if you can't do your job in a disability where I couldn't speak, I couldn't, do my job anymore, litigation attorney, I call you in that scenario. Is
Yes,
that the
in
first
fact, I
move?
had a client with that exact fact pattern. And interestingly, because some of these policies allow for a partial or a residual disability, this gentleman was able to effectively communicate for portions of the day, typically earlier,
Oh,
and then his issues would exacerbate and he was less able to communicate. So he suffered a partial disability, and we were able to help navigate that claim and demonstrate the associated loss of income to his medical condition and open the door to allowing him to continue to be productive to his capacity and fill that void through those disability benefits.
wow. So you navigate, it's not just the cash grab, help the person get the money. I mean, that was a complex situation you helped work out there, and almost to your detriment, right? You help that person and ultimately let them keep working, which I think would earn you less.
Well, so I think when I told you, I've shared with you that I've succeeded in recovering north of $300 million for my clients. And I think I told you that I'm proud to say that I'm a thousandaire, which was a bit cheeky. But the point was that I typically don't work on contingency like that, where I'm sharing in my clients' troubles for that matter. Um,
Mm.
I want to deliver as much as I can for them. They've lost their ability to continue to produce and be successful. It's their policy. So generally speaking, in that scenario, my fee structure will be considerably less than what it would be if it was contingency, and their return on their investment is considerably higher.
300 million is no joke. I mean, you're closing in on Gloria Allred, who recently bragged about winning her clients 1 billion. But I mean, 300 million, like,
I may be working longer than she has,
well, I don't know. She's 80, 84 now. I don't know.
then less.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we should know about disability benefits in terms of these private policies?
Yeah, so the nuances really exist in the sense of some of these providers, these doctors, are not able to perform what they were, like they were orthopedic surgeons, and through a condition they're not able to do that. They often want to continue to remain productive. So the issue for them is how do we define their occupation? What does their policy permit them to do in that regard? And ultimately, are we able to allow them to receive a total disability benefit and still become productive and continue working? And
Oh,
oftentimes the answer is yes. So the connotation that someone cannot work at all if they're disabled under those private policies, the answer is they're absolutely able to explore different options. In contrast, on those ERISA policies, which we'll talk about maybe separately, those options may be more limited, but there are certain things that you can avail yourself of as well.
amazing. And that we're talking about doctors a lot, but generally these policies could be for any professional. Is that
Absolutely. I've represented lawyers, Wall Street, CEOs, dentists, doctors, chiropractors, podiatrists, anyone who's purchased that policy, dental hygienists,
oh
salespeople.
wow.
And so the approach is often the same. So when we talk about verifying their occupational duties, when we're dealing with professionals, we can deal with certain times billing codes. So doctors have codes, lawyers have billing entries. But what do we do with the salesperson? So we've had unique situations where sometimes they're commission based. So maybe we develop a commission report. So
Oh.
you need to think of different ways in which you can creatively help the insurance company to verify the occupation. It's one thing to state it. You know, the insurance company's mantra is likely going to be trust but verify, much
Mhm.
more with the emphasis on verify. And so I think it's important to effectively neuter that in advance and come up with ways in which you can demonstrate that through your terms to effectively have them in your sandbox, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Fantastic. Before we close this out, any frequently asked questions for these kind of benefits that you'd love to address? And I'm putting you on the spot here so we can.
No, it's so people have always asked me what drives me to do this area of law,
Yeah.
and I think in part it's a David versus Goliath. Um, you know, insurance companies have all the resources, and we just have energy and passion. So I try and make good use out of the 12-hour work days and pick the battles to fight, knowing that a lot of people need our help.
That's beautiful. That is also what drew me to my field. The ability to because I'm a trailer park kid, right? So for me, you look at a Fortune 100 company or bigger, and the ability to be like, yeah, I can go with them. I we can make this happen type of thing. And that to me is incredibly empowering and lets you kind of to echo you to fight for your clients, lets you take the big swings. I love that. I love to
I'll
hear
just
that.
tell you maybe analogous. So in high school, I played basketball and I was mediocre, but I was on the starting lineup of our team in a game that was televised. And the commentator called me and he made a mistake. He said he's a blue collar player. And that's what
Eh,
I was. I was a blue collar player. I was the guy setting the picks, grabbing the rebounds. And so, someone else can get the glory. I just want the results.
that's amazing. That's the kind of attorney that helps people, everybody, without question. All right. Thank you so much. Let's cut this episode off right here. Everybody, if this was helpful, we're gonna have all of Mr. Attorney Newfield's contact information down below. You can link directly to go to him. And I think you should. I got to tell you, I'm very impressed. If this video is helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below, share the channel so it can grow. Thank you.